Hello, staff. Welcome to another Monday morning message. I'll jump right in here and take a look at the calendar. As we do so, you'll notice calendar, not much on it for this week, but we also start the majority of our fall activities this week, and you can expect something from Christy Newby to come out in regards to that. One thing I do want to draw your attention to is the morning duty. You'll see it listed here, and you'll hear me quite often just give a reminder to make sure that we're there at 7:20. It's a good time to greet our kids as they're coming in. So take the time to do that and be diligent about being on time in regards to that. The other thing that's on the calendar right now is we do have Crowder dual enrollment that will take place on Friday from 12:40 to 1:40, and that will be in Cardinal Theater for any of our students that are currently taking dual enrollment through Crowder College. So that's a look at the calendar this week. One thing that is not on there that I want to make sure that we point out is Tuesday the 28th is the scheduled date for the Commons furniture install. I also shared something with you on Friday in regards to breakfast procedures, so make sure that you take a look at that. I'm sure that we'll continue to fine-tune our breakfast once the furniture gets in, but I do think that it was important to at least have a plan in place as we're waiting on the furniture. Some announcements. If you'll take a look at Canvas, number one, make sure that you've accepted the invitation. There's still a few that have not. But just a reminder that there's some things on here with some due dates. It's required trainings is due by October 1st. So make sure that you get that taken care of. If you'll come over to the certified staff evaluation, a couple things coming up is your initial PGP as well as the self-reflection. So make sure that you take care of that as well. You can always find these Monday morning messages down here in the Monday morning message tab as well. And then, of course, we have our staff resources. It's a little bit about Canvas. One thing I touched on last week was visitor parking in the circle. And just a reminder that those visitor spots are for visitors, should not be for staff vehicles. I believe there's about 8 to 10 of them out there that we've marked for visitors. So appreciate you paying attention to that so visitors can have access to our building. A little bit about school safety. Make sure that you're covering all your drill procedures with your classes, whether it's fire drill, tornado drill, or lockdown. I hope that you've already had the opportunity to go over that. If you have not, please make sure that you're taking care of that. We will start having some drills in the coming week in regards to the fire and tornado and lockdown. So take care of that. Magnets, if you need some magnets from Mr. Wingert for the lockdown drill, Mr. Wingert has those. You can get those from him. The other thing is make sure that your door is locked at all times. You don't want to have to be locking your door in the event that we do have to have a lockdown. Staff shirts. We will do staff shirts this year. You can expect an order form coming from Miss Eggleston in regards to the staff shirts. Those orders will be due by Friday, the 31st. We will only do one order. So make sure that if you want a staff shirt, that you take the time this week to fill out that form and get it in on time. Kind of a thought or reflection for the week. I go back to this quite often, and it's just it's a short story, probably not even a story, but it's what do you make teacher? And you can look this up on YouTube just by simply searching what do you make teacher. But bear with me here. I just want to read it just real quick. What do you make? The dinner guests were sitting around the table discussing life. One man, a CEO, decided to explain the problem with education. He argued, what's a kid going to learn from someone who decided his best option in life was to become a teacher? He reminded the other dinner guests what they say about teachers. Those who can, do. Those who can't, teach. To stress his point, he said to another guest, you're a teacher, Susan. Be honest. What do you make? Susan, who had a reputation for honesty and frankness, replied, you want to know what I make? I make kids work harder than they ever thought they could. I make a C+ feel like the winner of the Congressional Medal of Honor. I make kids sit through 40 minutes of study hall in absolute silence. You want to know what I make? I make kids wonder. I make them question. I make them criticize. I make them apologize and mean it. I make them write. I make them read. I make them show all their work in math and perfect their final drafts in English. I make them understand that if you have the brains and follow your heart, and if someone ever tries to judge you by what you make, you must pay no attention because they just didn't learn. Susan paused and then continued. You want to know what I make? I make a difference. What do you make? I'm confident that I've shared that with you before, but I think as we endeavor and embark upon a new school year, it's important to remind you that each of you have the opportunity to make a difference in our kids' lives. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a wonderful week.